I bid you welcome to this episode of the Blue Toad Murder Files. I will be your narrator as you investigate the mystery of Riddle Manor. Now then, how many players are there? Choose your blue... This is Little Riddle. Here in this seemingly innocent, innocuous corner of our green and pleasant land, the sacred tranquility has been irrevocably shattered by dastardly deeds, deadly doings, and by murder. Your holiday here had only just begun when you were witness to the abrupt and violent demise of the mayor of Little Riddle. Despite interference from one Inspector Bragg, your investigation uncovered 4 suspects. With skill and determination, you sought out the truth, uncovering the guilty party, the miller. However, he was killed even as he confessed, snuffed out before he could identify his accomplices. What secret is concealed in Little Riddle that's worth the lives of Mayor and Miller? The forces of dark villainy seek to thwart you at every turn. Can you defeat them? It's time to return to Little Riddle.
So, let me get this right. You ignored everything I told you, interviewed all my suspects, then went around whipping up hysteria in the village, and stumbled across the truth of the matter. By which time the villain or villains were alerted and were able to snuff out the unfortunate Miller before he could help with my inquiries. Do I have that right? I think I do.
Inspector Bragg is not very happy. Before he can continue, however...
Inspector Bragg! It's her ladyship, the manor!
The puffing policeman explains that Riddle Manor has been burgled, and its owner, Lady Snobbish, is in some distress. Blue blood takes immediate precedence, and reluctantly, the inspector lets you go.
Don't think I'm done with you yet. Oh no. I'll deal with this, and then I'll have some more questions for you. Do not leave town.
You have no intention of leaving. There are murders to avenge and mysteries to solve. With the local police focused on the robbery at Riddle Manor, the windmill, scene of the most recent murder, is open to investigation. That no one has investigated the murdered miller's home is obvious. Within moments of beginning your methodical search, your expert eye spots something trapped beneath the grain sacks. There is a picture trapped under some sacks of flour. Can you correctly move them to retrieve it? Eeny, meeny, miny. Right on the money! What, finished already? You made that look easy, not an error in sight. There are no words sufficient to describe your brilliance. There's no time to examine the photograph further, nor continue the search of the windmill. You hear sirens approaching. Pocketing the picture, you promptly propel yourself through the window and away. Perhaps there's still time to see if the burglary at the manor is linked to the deaths of the mayor and the miller. Click on the link. Arriving outside the opulent and ancient edifice that is Riddle Manor, you're greeted with a courteous but firm invitation to leave immediately.
Oh, I'm sorry, really. I'm under strict orders from the inspector not to let anyone in. He mentioned your name in particular. I'm sorry. I can't let you in the front at all. Not through the front? I'd back away if I were you. If you know what I mean. I'd go round the back of the house if... well, yeah, you know.
Taking the hint, you walk out of sight of the house, then work your way around the back. Whilst it's true there are no policemen around, there is the little matter of the devilishly tricky Riddle Manor maze. The terrifyingly taxing topiary stands between you and the information you seek. When faced with many routes, a solid plan of action is required. Can you work out what the maze looks like? What will the ducks reveal? Right on the money! You're finished. That was quick. Ooh, ooh! No mistakes made. Show off. Olympian intelligence deserves an Olympian reward. Having successfully navigated the horrible hedgerows, you emerge in sight of the stately home. There, taking tea on the veranda, you see a cowed Inspector Bragg and the regal figure of Lady Snobbish.
And you say those were the only items taken?
Yes, Inspector. That's what I said.
Yes, Mum. If you could just confirm the descriptions again,
I am not in the habit of repeating myself. Is there anything else you need to know?
Yes, Mum. Sorry about that. If you could just tell me if you had any visitors today.
Certainly. The vicar visited to discuss my giving a eulogy at the mayor's funeral. The colonel was there also, very briefly. He wished to walk with me to the village green or round the pond or some such nonsense. That will be all, Inspector.
There was the matter of...
That will be all, Inspector.
Oh, yes, Mum. That will be all. I'll be off then. Sharpish-like. Thank you, Mum. I'll be in touch when we find your...
Good day, Inspector. So nice to have met you, just this once.
Though it's been a pleasure to watch Inspector Bragg being so thoroughly trounced, you have work to do and must away. There are suspects to interview. Another crime has broken the tranquility of this picturesque village. One that will require both observation and deduction if it is to be solved. Although you have only 2 suspects at this juncture, I think it wise to make sure you are paying sufficient attention. Let's see if you can answer these questions. Fantastic work! Your keen eye and attention to detail will serve you well. That's enough questions for now. There is much for you to be getting on with. Little Riddle Church, where people come out of mindless habit to expunge self-inflicted guilt and to make sure their neighbours haven't got better hats than them. Vicar Goodman greets you with open arms.
And sinners on thy knees beg ye for forgiveness, in the sure and certain knowledge that none awaits those who repent not. For tang.
Mentioning you'd heard he'd been at the manor, you ask the vicar what he's been doing. In between dire warnings and calls for repentance, the vicar explains that he'd asked Lady Snobbish to deliver a eulogy, though he doesn't seem to think it will work.
Damned he may be, snatched away forever confessing his sins to the bringer of madness. Forgiveness. Here I have been since I met the lady, seeking enlightenment from this morning's collection plate.
Perhaps if you help him, he might be more forthcoming with information you actually need. The vicar wants you to work out exactly how much each pew donated. Can you use his information to identify how much each person gave? Let's find out how you did. That's the one. What, finished already? Ooh, ooh! No mistakes made. Show off. Olympian intelligence deserves an Olympian reward.
Ah, glory to the sleeper beneath, that is not dead which can eternal lie. Sorry. Many thanks. Now, to what questions do you seek answers?
You explain about the burglary, and that you are wondering if he had seen anything unusual.
I have seen many things. Strange colors out of time, glimpses of worlds beyond, and strange geometry. Of the mundane, nothing. Moses, our groundskeeper, was with me. Mayhap he saw something.
Leaving the vicar to mutter about sunken islands, you seek sanity and answers elsewhere. The vicar, though clearly a few pews short of a congregation, did mention that he'd visited the manor with his groundskeeper, Moses. Your welcome to Moses' home is muted, to say the least. Yes, quite. Looking round for a conversational gambit, you spot the open book and ask what he's been reading up on. At least that gets a reaction.
It's all about the watering. It's what keeps the garden going. Just got to work out which are the right cans for the job. See? Here.
Moses has been making notes on the plants around the churchyard. He's trying to carefully calculate an efficient watering system. Perchance if you help him, he may be more forthcoming. Moses' plants each need a specific amount of water. Not any extra and not any less. Can you place the watering cans in positions that will satisfy every plant?
Here.
Are you correct? Let's see. Correct you are. Well done. Gosh, you got through that one, lickety-split. You made that look easy, not an error in sight. My, aren't you terribly talented? Well done.
That's right. So, what is it you want?
You tell him the vicar mentioned that he and Moses had been at the manor and that the place was burgled at some point that day. Had Moses seen anything?
All I saw was weeds. Weeds where there's no right to be any. Weeds needing dealt with. Uprooted.
Well, wasn't that fun? Perhaps try interviewing someone more talkative next time. A nice gatepost, perhaps. The lady of the manor mentioned the colonel had paid a visit. Her tone was not complimentary, but then snobbish by name, head up where the sun doesn't shine by nature.
You find the Colonel easily enough, but before you can say anything...
I say, you there! Step up now, that's the ticket. Now then, ducks! Been giving the old grey matter a bally good thrashing. Still can't work them out. Have a gander. See if you can sort them out. Oh, I say, a gander! What? Ha! Jolly good.
Well, yes. What on earth is going on? You're not going to get any further with the Colonel until you've had a look at these ducks of his. The Colonel is watching the ducks on the pond, trying to work out which ones need reinforcing. Will you be able to observe which color has the least members?
Ha!
What will the ducks reveal? Ah, spot on! You're finished. That was quick. Oh, and aren't you the smug one? No mistakes. Well done. Please take this moment to look as smug as possible.